So what's up, guys? So I got into this quiz the other day about being a Londoner or a New Yorker. So that just got me wondering, am I a Londoner or am I a New Yorker? So for this video today, I'm going to compare between Londoners and New Yorkers. So what makes London and New York two different cities? So in this video today, I'm going to compare the differences between London and New York and what makes these two cities so different. So London and New York are considered two very big cities with a population of millions and millions and millions of people. For London, however, it's around 8.7 million people, and for New Yorkers, it's around 8.5 million people. So you can actually say that these cities are actually pretty similar towards the sizing of the population. So if that's the case, what makes these two cities so different? Well, for starters, London and New York both have very different transportation systems. London, however, having a very interesting underground system where everyone takes the underground, which is the train, everywhere they go, and you can walk to the distances that you want to go. Also, they have actually very good buses where you can go through using a bus. For New York, on the other hand, they have a metro system, which is basically one of the most busiest and hecticest train systems in New York. But they also have cabs, which actually you can say that the cabs over there are pretty pricey. So that goes to show that the transportation wise, that New York and London have very different transportation. While Londoners, they live in very high buildings, which could be apartments or flats. But for New Yorkers, they mostly live in very narrow buildings. And pricing in New York and London are actually pretty similar. But you can actually say that in New York, it's a bit more expensive when it comes to housing because of the space that they are limited by. In London, however, it's very different because they have a lot of greeneries and parks and trees. And in New York, you only can see one park basically, and that's basically Central Park. So that's the differences when it comes to greenery, spacing, and location. So how about the food then? Well, both London and New York have very different food styles. When in London, they have very different amount of varieties of food in one platter. Let's say an English breakfast or maybe a fish and chips. They have a lot of elements in that kind of food, but it's all packed into one single platter. On New York, on the other hand, they eat lots of fast food. Let's say burgers and hot dogs and pizzas, just one biters directly. So that concludes the differences between the foods in London and in New York. So these two are very different in a sense. Then finally, we come to the point where we are asking about currency wise. So which is more expensive, to live in London or to live in New York? But actually you can barely really say that both of them are very pricey, and both of them have a very different style of living and a very eclectic way of living. So you can actually say that both of them have a similar price range within everything that you do. Basically, that includes lifestyles, food, metro, transport, everything like that, even shopping wise. But although London is considered to be a bit more into just walking around, traveling, and New York is considered to be more on the fashion wise. So that's it. So the final statement is basically these are two very different cities with two very incredible cultures and differences. But you can actually say that these two cities are very similar in their diversity and also in their population wise. You can also say that these two cities are very big and also very eclectic. So that gives me this show. Are you a Londoner or are you a New Yorker?